Welcome back to the Nasdaq studios. I'm your host, Maddie DeWalt, and we are here with Michelloe Shinn and Jacquelyn Skinner from Young Living Essential Oils. Thank you guys so much for being here and for joining us today at the Amazing Silicon Slopes Conference. And first off, can you both tell me a little bit about who you are and your role at Young Living Essential Oils?
Yes, first thank you for having us,
Absolutely.
for sure. My name is Michelloe Shinn. I'm the Global Supply Chain Vice President, Senior Vice President for Young Living. And Young Living is an organization that is essential oils, an essential oils product organization. And we're started by Gary and Mary Young about 26 years ago. And along the way, they have built a fantastic organization that 26 years later is a $2 billion organization. So we're very proud to be here to talk about that. We provide very high quality essential oils and products, but what we're most proud of is our purpose-driven philosophy and our business. So we're here today to talk about how you embed social impact into a business model. And we've got a great panel to talk today.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm Jackie, and I'm the Executive Director of Global Philanthropy, and I focus on our social impact globally, and we focus our philanthropic initiatives in three core areas, which are education, developing enterprise opportunities for women from marginalized areas, and then ending exploitation, so interventions to modern day slavery, really.
Incredible. So it seems like Young Living is very focused on the social impact and making sure that that is part of your guys' culture. And can you tell me more about what that looks like at Young Living and what kind of initiatives you're focused on?
You want to talk about the foundation?
Sure.
Great.
Okay, so with our three core focus areas, what that looks like globally, we on the education side, we run a school directly, actually in Chang'an, Ecuador, which is right next to one of our huge essential oil farms.
Wow.
And it's a K through 12 school that supports about 350 students from a really low income area. But beyond that, we support education initiatives all over the world, an all-girls school in rural Jharkhand, India, to rebuilding schools in Nepal. From a developing enterprise standpoint, so we have partnered with, I think, around just under 20 women's groups globally to connect them to a market, but also to support their income generating potential. And then today we're going to talk specifically about our human trafficking partner, which is called Hope for Justice, and they have a social enterprise called Slave Free Alliance, and that's something we're very focused on for the next 3 years, identifying any risks of potential modern day slavery in our own supply chains. We have about 5,000 vendors that Young Living works with globally, and this is where it's so relevant to the tech industry because they can do the very same thing, just making sure that they're mitigating the risks of any potential modern day slavery in their own supply chains.
Wow. So you guys do a lot more than essential oils.
We do.
Incredible.
We do.
How do you recommend companies go about embedding social impact into their framework as they're beginning to grow?
Well, one of the things that we've recognized is that you can be a company who takes the profits that you make from the company and then contribute to organizations who will go out and fight that exploitation. But one of the ways you can truly embed it is to become a part of that fight. And that's what we're doing at Young Living. We are exploring our own supply chain internally in order to be able to understand if there are any issues there. And we're working with our partners closely. But this isn't our first initiative. We've worked for a long time internally on different projects. And today what we're going to be talking about is how do you measure that impact? How do you partner with the right people, and how do you make sure it's part of your business model?
That's incredible. And how do you? Do you have advice?
So looking at sourcing and supply chain, as Michelloe kind of mentioned, but some specifics. So many companies give out meaningless swag. Even at this conference, we've got lanyards and bracelets and bags and all of this stuff that we go home, and when we trash it, because it's just stuff and junk. But if we were to shift our approach with that and consider where are we sourcing these things from, and if it does make financial sense, you've got these women's groups in different parts of the world that don't have any connection to market. So if you can mobilize a group of women in an inner city slum of New Delhi, India, to help create some of this, but where they get fair trade, fair pay, then that can be one way to embed social impact. And even employee gifting during the holidays, companies can shift out if they're just getting additional swag to give to their employees. Let's be a little bit more mindful and socially conscious as to how we're gifting. And then through the Slave Free Alliance, taking ownership of, human trafficking, modern day slavery is a huge problem. Over 40 million people around the world are still trapped in modern day slavery initiatives. So if we could all collectively take our own responsibility of looking internally, collectively we'd have such a bigger impact on the world together. So we want to create that bar for not only ourselves, but our 5,000 vendors around the world that we work for.
That is absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited to hear about the impact that Young Living is making, and thank you both. Cannot wait to hear you talk later today.
Thank you so much.
This has been live in the Nasdaq studios with Michelle and Jackie from Young Living.